everybody, and welcome back to my room today. We've got a busy day today, all of the Moon family. Toby's off and Rupert's off, both poorly. Rupert's been sick, Toby's just getting over it. So Toby's outside helping his dad, and they're doing another vlog on fixing a tractor. And Rupert is currently laying on the sofa watching Winnie the Pooh, his favourite programme, getting a little bit better. So I've just disappeared into my room, but I'll have to keep running between my room and the living room just to check that Rue's okay. But he's all right. He's just been a bit poorly this morning. I think there's been something going around because we've all been a bit sick. I can't tell if mine's sickness from baby or sickness because of illness, but either way, we're getting there as usual. I've got a really interesting day today. Lots of stuff going on. We've got I'm going to finish Pompadour. I'm going to give him his wash and give him back his claws and his feet. So he'll be done. And I'm also making a clay noses today and clay eyes ready for what is supposed to be the dog, which is going to be a bit of an experiment because I've not made one before. So here I'll show you. Don't laugh. So here he is. He's unusual. I'm not going to lie. He hasn't come out because I hand draw all my patterns myself directly onto the fabric. I don't use anyone else's patterns. They're all mine, and I draw them, literally hand sketch them onto the fabric. So and then I copy the pattern again to, like, for 2 arms. I'll just copy my own pattern to create the arms. And I don't quite know what happened with him. He's my normal sort of bear. But for some bizarre reason, he's ended up with the longest nose in the world ever and quite a flat head. And he does look, in the camera, he definitely looks quite doggy. So we'll have to see. I'm going to make some spiky ears for him. So we'll try those. And we'll also try some sort of flapped over ears, like spaniel ears. He'll obviously have some whiskers. And I'm going to make him a nice nose. And because I use this special clay to do some, not all of them, but some of the bears I make the noses out of clay. So I'll make a nose out of this clay and make it look like it's like a wet look nose, and then maybe he could look like a dog, but who knows? We will find out. He's going to be a real experiment, so we'll see. Worst case scenario, I'll have to just shorten his nose slightly and give him some rounder ears, and he will become a bear. But Nicky is right, the shape of his head isn't quite bear-like. I don't know what happened. Sometimes it's the way the fabrics work, but maybe he just wanted to be a dog and he decided today that, you know, it's time to start going down the canine path rather than the bear. So we'll give it a go. So he's going to be done. He's actually got little eyelids. I don't know if you can see them on the camera. He's got tiny little eyelids as well. So they give him real expression. So yeah, he's a lovely boy, but we will see what he comes out like. And yeah, so what else have I got to do? And then I have got a real fur rabbit pelt to clean here, which is absolutely minging. So this needs a good clean because I've got to use this for a very special rabbit, which hopefully I'll be able to show you what I'm doing with that. But this has taken long enough to get hold of, so I've got hold of it. It's antique. It's going to need some real care when I clean it. It's for a very, very old and very, very special bear, or rabbit, not even a bear, a rabbit. But hopefully I'll be able to tell you a little bit about that in the future. And if I can't, then you'll have to wait because it'll be a surprise. But yeah, this one's been a long time coming, and it's been very difficult to get the matching fabrics that I need to reproduce what I've been asked to reproduce. So I'm going to try my hardest. I can't say I'm going to do it for sure because you know, it's one of those things. It's a bit of an experiment, but we'll try. But I need to clean that, which is truly gross. Oh, but we got hold of it anyway, and I'm very pleased I've got it. But it, you know, isn't the cleanest thing in the world. So I've got a cup of tea. I'm going to drink my tea, and then I'm going to get on. I think we will start with the nose for the dog bear. Because I need that to dry, because that's a air drying clay. So we'll do this first, and then that can be drying whilst I'm doing Pompadour's final touches and his wash. And then yes, and then we will see from there where we go from there. But I'm going to switch you off for a second. I'm going to get my stuff ready to be able to do the nose, and then I will bring the camera in so you can actually see me making the nose. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'll see you soon. Okay, so I'm back. I've got my little piece of clay here, which I've been playing and working with for the last 5 minutes, so it's nice and soft and supple. First thing I needed to do was to make sure it was going to be enough, not too much and not too little, to actually make his nose. I think putting it on, it looks like a sort of a roughly the right amount once it's all shaped. So to be able to fix the nose to the bear, you need to have some sort of wire or something within in the clay itself. So what I've got here is I've got these little eyes that you put in just to sort of position the eye, and then you bend the wire at the back. So I'm just going to bring the camera in, show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to bend the wire around on this and tuck it in, and then this will be my my little hook and eye for ready to go inside the actual nose, so I can then attach it to the bear. So, and I always do this, I always bend a little bit too far down so I can't close it up. That's it. So then you have a little hook and eye, if I show you, like this, and that's going to go inside the actual clay itself. And because it's air drying clay, it doesn't need to go in the oven. These could go in the oven because these are actually glass eyes, but we're not going to worry about doing that because it's air drying. So we're going to just create the nose. So now we've got one piece of clay around like a little button like this with a hook and eye in the middle of it like this. And then now we just got to create the shape of the nose. So it's going to be a bit of a triangle, I think, to begin with. Just trying to get this so you can see what I'm doing. And make it nice and soft. And then we need to make we'll use the knitting needle again. So I'll make 2 holes here. And these holes need to be, so we're trying to make a dog's nose. So if we do 2 holes like this, quite triangle-like, looking bad. Right, and I'm going to cut some of this off because it's a little bit big, and we can work our way down to the right size. Okay, and I'm going to pinch this bit in and push this down. You can see it's taking shape now. Give it a little bit more definition in the actual nostrils. Because it's natural clay, I can get it a bit wet. So I'm going to make it a little bit wet just to be able to get it to manipulate it a little bit more. Okay. The art is not to get too carried away, because otherwise you can end up thinking, oh, I'll add a bit more there or take a bit more there, and before you know it, the clay's got really warm, and then it won't manoeuvre. You can't do anything with it then. It just sort of starts to melt. Right, so we've got that. I think that looks pretty good for now. We'll get another needle. I'll put a line up the middle. Gently push it in like that. And right down under there. So we've got our little shape. And then, to give it some texture, I'm just going to stab the top of it with the needle so you get all the little dots like you would on a dog's nose. And then once this is painted and all shiny, you wouldn't believe how realistic it looks. Such little effort, and it makes such a difference. And we'll just leave this to dry. Looks pretty good, I think. Handling it too much. One little nose. Yep, and that fits in. So right, we're going to pop that on the side, and we're going to then I'm going to get the water to get the bubbles to give Pompadour a bit of a wash. Pompadour? Pompadour a little bit of a wash. I shall be back. Okay, so I'm back. We now are going to give Pompadour a quick wipe over. As I said before, he's a very, very old bear, and you wouldn't submerge him in water, and I haven't taken any of his stuffing out, so he is as he was, apart from his new ears and his the shape of his head. So what I'm going to do is, in this bowl here, this is some special cleaner that you can actually get out here for, I said in the last video, it's for antique fabrics. So if I give it a quick whiz up, there's quite a lot of soap in here and some very, very, very hot water just to create this foam on the top. And the foam is really, really thick, so you don't need a lot of it. So what I do is I just get it so it's a little bit frothy like this, and then I get my cloth. This is a nice cotton napkin, which is always, I find, the best way to do it. So you don't want it to be wet, and then you're just going to literally wipe him over, and you'll be amazed at the dirt that starts to come off of him, and just with the actual froth itself. Because what we don't want is, we don't want him to be wet. We just want to release the actual fur, but not wet the fabric. So this is a really good way of doing it. And you just go all over him, just to get the dirt and the dust off of him. There's years worth of it. I mean, if he was a bear that you didn't mind you know, losing value, or you didn't know, you just wanted to preserve him, people do submerge very old bears. They strip them down to nothing and then submerge them in water, and you'll be quite amazed at how the colours that come back from what they once were, because it actually cleans the fabric as well, not just the fur. So sometimes you get a really yellow bear, and it's good, and it's really refreshing and good to see, and they come back together. But it is one of those things, you are taking a real risk by doing it. So it's with bears like him, with an unknown bear, you're better off just giving him a wash on the outside, just to surface clean. And this will be, so he doesn't feel wet. He feels dry. He just has, but you can see the dirt coming off of him. So you just turn your cloth over and just keep working your way all over him. So I'll speed you up, and you can watch me clean him all over, and then we're going to do his claws and give him back his feet, and we're going to get his growler to work again. Right, so that's him all surface cleaned. To say, he's not as clean as he could be, but he's clean enough for a bear that we don't know much about, and a very old bear as well, because we don't want to damage his fabric. The cloth's pretty filthy that came off of him, so it's got quite a lot of the surface dirt off. And the other thing I like to do is, when I restuff him, because obviously he's got to have his growler put back in his back, to help keep the critters away, and the little moths and the nasty things that might want to try and live in him, which hopefully we've stopped, because obviously we've cleaned him and we're trying to preserve him a bit, is I'll put a little piece of rag with natural lavender oil inside it, which repels you know, moths and bugs and things. So so I do that with all my bears. All my bears go home smelling of lavender. All my restored bears smell of lavender. So yeah, so he's gonna have a little lavender pocket put in his back, just to make sure he smells nice and fresh, and it just helps him in the future. So he's looking nice and shiny, and now it's down to, we're going to do these new claws for him. So you can just make out on his feet how the claws are. So you've got them, they're quite far apart. So, but they've all come out. So we're going to take these out. I've got a thread here which is about the same thickness. So we're going to use the same, almost exactly the same thread, and we're just going to put them back where they were. So I'm going to get my needle. I'm going to move this water so we don't end up spilling that. my thread. And what we'll do is we will put the claws back in, and then we will take the old claws out so we know that we're putting them in the right place. Okay, so he's got his new little feet, his claws on his feet, which will match. This hand, or this little paw, is actually perfect, so we're going to keep that one as it is. And this one's lost 2 claws, so we're just going to replace those claws now. So all his claws are done, and he's ready to have his growler fixed, which I'm going to do now. So I will turn you off and show you just my hands and just show you what I'm doing to fix his little growler, and hopefully at the end of today it will be dry and working and he'll have his growler back. Hello, so we're back. I'm just about to start his growler. The actual bellow part has come off of the weight. So the first thing I need to do is put that back on. So I'm just waiting for the glue to heat up for that, because that's going to be quite a tricky job. And then it's a matter of resealing the bellows. So the bellows, the material's a bit like if you have a plaster, you know, the fabric plasters. So it's a bit like that, and it's all sealed. And what happens is, as the glue starts to deteriorate, all these little holes start appearing, and as soon as there's a hole in the bellow, obviously the bellow doesn't work anymore because the air doesn't get trapped. So what we need to do is we need to reseal the actual material without replacing it, because if you look, the bellow is it's so cleverly done. It goes like in a spiral, and to recreate that's going to be quite hard. So I would rather, if I can, try and save the original fabric here. So I'm going to do that in a minute and show you how I do it. And it really is trial and error, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how badly the fabric has perished. So we will see. So the first thing I'm going to do, as I say, is going to fix the actual weight back onto the bellow itself, and then we'll try sealing the fabric. And but you can see in here, if you look, that tiny little reed in there, that's like a copper reed. That is what creates the sound as the weight pushes down on the bellows. So what we need it to do is, this needs to be stronger and it needs to be standing upright, so then when the weight pushes, the air is pushed out of the tiny little reed at the top, and we make the sound of a growler. And the sound of a growler, for anyone that doesn't know, sounds like this. So this is a new one. So worst case scenario, Pompadour has a new growler. But I'm hoping we'll be able to fix his original, and we'll be able to hear his original sound. So I'm going to just fix this outside part and try and glue it back on, which is going to be tricky to say the least. And then we will start trying to seal the actual fabric. Okay, so Pompadour's growler is outside drying, and hopefully that's taken, so we will see a bit later on, once it's dry, whether it's going to work. And now we're going to paint the nose of the little dog thing that we're making. So I'm just going to get the paint and paint this. So I'm just going to paint it completely black, and then afterwards I'll lacquer it, and then that will give it like the shiny effect like it would have, you know, as a dog's nose. So now it's just a matter of painting the little nose, and we will see. Okay, so we've got one little dog's nose. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera. See if it will focus in on it a bit better. Doesn't seem to want to, but it's dry and it looks wet, as you can see. So yeah, so I'm now going to go and have some lunch because I'm quite hungry, and then I will come back after lunch and we will fit the nose to the dog and see if it's supposed to be a dog or whether it's going to be a bear. It seems a shame to waste the nose, so we will see. I'll see you after lunch. Okay, so I'm back from a spot of lunch. I'm not going to do too much more this afternoon because I've promised Toby that I'm going to help him do a vlog on... he's cooking us dinner this evening because Mummy's very worn out, so he's going to do us a nice stew, and he's got a nice pudding organised. So yeah, so I said I'd film that for him and just help him in the kitchen a little bit. So I'm going to do that with him in a minute. But first of all, I thought we'd just see what the dog looked like with his nose. So we're going to just pop this on and have a little look. And I think he is definitely looking quite doggy, that's for sure. And then it's just a decision on, does he have down ears or up ears? This is the thing. So now I think the down ears look quite nice, but maybe he'd like pointy ears, but then he'd be quite foxy, wouldn't he? Oh, I don't know. How about you guys decide? You tell me what you think, whether he should have ears that point up or ears that point down. He does look quite cute with the ears down, to be fair, but leave a comment and let me know. What we'll do is tomorrow I'm going to finish him. So tomorrow will be a vlog on finishing the dog with his little nose. But for now, I'm going to go and, yeah, as I say, just help Tobes and show him where everything is. He does know. He's very good. He actually does it all on his own. I'm just about, just in case he has any issues. And, yeah, Nick's going to pick up Charlie. And then we're going to sit down and hopefully have a nice dinner. So we shall speak to you all tomorrow.